Hi, and welcome to Cover Brand, where we cover all things branding, marketing, and advertising to help you understand what the hell branding is and how it works to grow your business. Welcome and welcome back to Cover Brand. I'm Ethan Decker, and today on the show we have Chelsea Burns. Chelsea, hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Is it morning there? It must be morning there.
It is morning. It's about 10:30 here.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. Not too early. Are you a night owl or an early bird?
Oh, I am an early bird all the way. You can't shake that farm life.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. I'm a total night owl. I would die on a farm. Yeah.
Probably.
Would not work for me. So before we get into branding, let's talk cover songs. Okay. What do you got for me?
Say My Name by Sick Puppies.
Who are Sick Puppies?
Well, I wish I had a better answer for you, but somewhere in my angsty late teen, early 20s era, I came across, I'm sure very legally and not on LimeWire in any way, shape, or form, a cover of Destiny Child's Say My Name. And it's got a bit of a rock take to it.
Okay.
And I couldn't even tell you another song of theirs that I listened to, but it 100% went on my Zune because I was also an anti-conformist who refused to have an iPod.
So you downloaded music from LimeWire.
No, I never said that.
Oh, okay. Yep. I never used Napster either. And I never torrented anything. No. But Zune, you had a Microsoft Zune.
I did.
Oh, that's vintage. But let's get back to the song. Say My Name, Destiny Child. Why did you like that version from Sick Puppies?
So I was a competitive runner for a really long time, and I was a middle distance sprinter. If you know anything about running in general, it's just mostly discomfort. But then imagine trying to sprint for half mile.
Brutal.
And so I liked music that would kind of get me feeling angsty, a little pissed off. And that song seemed to do it. It was catchy, and then the beat would drop and it would get a little hard. It was just a good, get my game face on.
Got it. You're right about middle distance. It sucks. It's the worst of the distances. Because if you're doing, 100 meters, 200 meters, those sprinters, you're built like a football player and you just run, and you're done in 10 or 20 seconds.
Yes.
And if you're doing a long thing like a 10K or a marathon, of course, then you just can pace yourself. But if you're doing 800, 1600 meters,
Yep.
which is middle distance, the stuff you did, right?
Yep.
You go fast and then you don't slow down. It just hurts.
It just hurts from the beginning to the end.
Well, Say My Name, that's a great song. And I have to listen to that cover as soon as we're done.
Absolutely.
Sick Puppies. Say My Name, Sick Puppies.
Sick Puppies.
Okay, that's great. I love it. Okay, thank you for that. That will go on the Cover Brand Covers playlist, which you can find on Spotify.
Love it.
We'll be right back after these messages with more of Chelsea Burns. Cover Brand is fueled by Brand Equity Gummies, daily chewables for your long-term health. Each gummy contains 3 times your recommended dose of distinctiveness, familiarity, and mild panic about your Q4 results. And it tastes like strawberry future cash flow. Brand Equity Gummies. Choose your future. And we're back. Chelsea Burns, why don't you tell folks a bit about your company and your business before we jump into your question?
Absolutely. So I am the founder of the Marketing Psychologist. And the Marketing Psychologist is, we're going to talk about what it is today. I need some help, Ethan, because it's evolving. But it is a company that combines applied psychology with branding and marketing, but through this lens of ethical branding and non-manipulative marketing.
Okay. Non-manipulative and ethical. That sounds like a stretch for marketing for some people.
100%. Yeah.
So what do you mean by it?
Been called disruptive many times.
And do you have a quick characterization of it, or the cartoon version of what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I talk about branding and ethical branding, I'm talking about brand as a relationship. So a lot of my angle is going to be bringing in relational psychology, consent, reciprocity, trust, belonging. Brand to me is this unseen but felt relationship, whereas marketing is an amplification of those things,
Right.
right? The
Right.
key here is yes, all marketing is influence.
Mm-hmm.
Not all marketing is manipulation.
True.
And the line for me, because that is the question I always get next,
Mm-hmm.
is about agency. It's about the consumer's ability to choose.
Okay.
So as long as you are leading with um, transparency, good intent, you're
Mm-hmm.
allowing people to make a choice without brain hacking them or, constricting their ability to make a decision, you're in the
Right.
clear. You
Right.
tilt on the
Okay.
other side of that line, you're manipulating people.
All right. All right. And you can see that even with things like 3-year-olds
Mm-hmm.
who want to get something, they want to be given something, they want something,
Yep.
and they can use whatever tools at their disposal.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flip side, you might want a 3-year-old to do something, and you can manipulate them, or you can be straight up about it.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
I have a
interesting.
10-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old daughter, so
Uh,
I'm living it
you
every
know
day.
it. You know it well.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 19 and a 20-year-old, and it doesn't end. It just gets more challenging
I bet.
because you can't just become a Harry Potter professor and get everyone to do everything because you're suddenly Miss McGonagall, right? Yeah. Okay. So
Yep.
ethical branding and marketing,
Mm-hmm.
the marketing psychologist.
Yep.
And I assume that's somewhere like the marketingpsychologist.com people can find.
Yes. Currently the marketingpsychologist.co.
.co. Okay, great. So what's the main challenge you have today that you wanted some help with?
Absolutely. So the marketing psychologist is a little baby infant business. Okay. Worked in corporate marketing for 17 years. Know my stuff. Right.
You're a pro.
However, Solomon's paradox. You
Uh-huh.
can't read the label from inside the bottle. It is
Oh,
very different when you do these things for yourself.
isn't it so funny?
I
Like,
mean,
yeah.
funny is a word for it. It doesn't feel funny, but
No, no, no. Funny more like funny bone funny. Like it hurts,
yes,
but someone else can laugh at you.
exactly.
Right. Even when you're an expert, even when you're a pro, it's hard to, like you said, see the label from inside the bottle to know what
Mm-hmm.
other people are seeing and how other people are seeing you and how you should build your own brand.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yes.
So is there a particular aspect of the marketing psychologist that you're really struggling with from
Oh,
inside the bottle?
absolutely. Absolutely. This will not be a missed opportunity here. So
This will
I
be a
did
7-part series, right?
yes. And probably still more from there, right? It never
Right,
stops.
right.
So I did a lot of work, a lot of research in my positioning. And I feel really good about the position of the marketing psychologist. We
Uh-huh.
have a lot of thought leaders, a lot of authors. There's also on the flip side a lot of agencies and consultants and people who
Okay.
specialize in like one little thing,
Right.
right? My ownable idea
Uh-huh.
um, is really that ethical branding, non manipulative marketing, like the essence of what that is.
Uh-huh.
Here's where I'm at. I started this and had arguably a pretty successful first year. Had ups and
Right.
downs, good times, bad times. I made money. I made a livable wage,
Mm-hmm.
grew
Good,
my
good.
audience from basically nothing to over 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, podcasts. Like the things are growing. I wasn't doing the work that I wanted to do.
Mm. Okay.
So I spent some time, Q4 of last year, and have really zeroed in on the nature of the work that I want to do. Here's where I get a little stuck. Because what I do is at this soil level, is how I explain it. I explain everything like a tree, with the roots being the brand position, trunk is strategy,
Mm-hmm.
core branches are your objectives, and all that little stuff, and maybe the fruit and the leaves, right? Those are all your deliverables. Well, the soil is really my differentiator. I can do everything else,
Right.
but making sure the soil is fertile with the brain science is where I land. Because of this, it makes my work fairly, one, industry agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
Industry
Yep.
comes into play in the trunk, sometimes in the positioning, but ultimately the way that I approach it, it's more down the road. But also, it really could be applied to anyone, And the number one rule in business is you can't
Uh-huh.
sell to everyone or you'll sell to no one,
Correct. Correct. Amen.
right? So, toying with the idea of different verticals. Oh,
Uh-huh.
D2C, and I'll work with, directly. And I've got a coaching program where I'll work with small businesses, founders, entrepreneurs. And then this idea of like B2B, where I want to do more consulting,
Mm-hmm.
workshops or trainings.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
big gap to bridge
Yeah,
in
that's a
one
lot.
brand. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So your real challenge here is focus, right?
Yeah, I think that could be fair.
And connected to focus is the amount of effort it takes to go after all these things. And the challenge with both of those goes back to, well, how do you communicate? How do you express it? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you've got 5 different targets, you need 5 different landing pages, you need 5 different sales pitches or sales decks,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. I can relate to this. I've been running applied brand science for about 7 years now. I have corporate clients, big corporate clients, really big ones that I do a lot of training with. I
Mm-hmm.
have some other corporate clients, medium ones, where I actually do the branding work. And then I have a whole business with ad agencies where I
Mm,
help them with understanding the brand science and how to talk to their clients about brand science and using brand science to make work that works better and to sell in more of it. But that's already 3 different things. And so
yeah.
it's hard. So focus, yeah, you on the one hand, you want to take all the business you want, right? You want to take whatever business comes through the funnel, the pipeline, whatever you want to call it. But it's exhausting to try and have so many different offerings for different audiences. And as marketers, and I've seen this in companies as big as, toilet paper manufacturers, down to solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, we always underestimate the size of our core target and underestimate how many more opportunities there are within our core target. We just haven't done
Mm-hmm.
the work yet. So my metaphor there is we've picked 3 apples from the tree and we're already like, well, we got all the apples here. We got to look elsewhere now. We need new apple trees. We need new
Mm,
pear trees. Maybe I should go after a fig tree. And you're ignoring the fact that you've picked 3 out of 300 apples
mm-hmm.
right from your own tree. So, uh, first of all, you are right to have this instinct that you're spread too thin, you've got too many targets, you're too broad. Um, and it's making you anxious. I can hear it in your voice, right? How do you juggle all these things? So the hard part then is building up the reputation and the fame and the funnel within the one target that you want to go after.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes time, right? How long have you been working on the Marketing Psychologist?
A year last month.
Okay. That's a little baby company.
It says, yeah, we're still on the bottle over here.
Right. Right, right. You're still on the bottle. Hopefully not formula. Hopefully it's
Yes.
pumped mother's milk. Um so yeah, it takes a lot of time. The other thing I'll say about targeting is that when you target well, it helps you focus your effort, but you shouldn't assume that everyone coming through will hit the target,
Mm-hmm.
right? You'll
Mm,
always have stuff that's outside the target that's a little messy. And I encourage you, A, because it's money, to take those clients, but B, because you can't, unless you're extremely in demand and you can pick and choose who your clients are, you usually don't have the luxury of just going after your ideal target.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is the same for toilet paper and soda. So it's, they have an ideal target of who their soda drinker is, but they get all kinds.
I
So,
was gonna go with the toilet paper.
indeed.
Not all
In
tushies are created equal?
No, no. And people have different needs. Some like extra strong. They're
Oh,
vigorous wipers.
we better get on track real quick.
Oh no, I love the toilet paper jokes. They're great. Um, so so yeah, you're just a little baby company.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It would make sense to focus and to pick one target even in the past 12 months, and maybe even with all your old connections, because I'm sure you have a nice Rolodex,
Mhm.
you can probably pick an area or a group that meets a few criteria. Number one, you like the work.
Right?
You don't want to do
Yeah.
shit you don't want to do.
Mhm.
Um, so you need to like it, and you need to like the people that you would probably work with. Number two, you need to have an offering that they like and want, and that might take some time to figure out
Yeah.
because you're a new company. It might take time for you to figure out what the offering actually is and how to express it to them.
Mhm.
And both of those are outside of the bottle things in a way, to use your
Yeah.
metaphor of being
100%.
stuck inside your own
Mhm.
bottle. So you would want to take time to figure out the offer, make sure you're communicating it right, and have an offer that they want and find valuable. And you need at least a couple people to be like, this was amazing. I wish I had this last year.
Yeah.
You're not going to have all your customers like that. In fact, you'll have 2% who ever say that. But it's a sign that you're on to something that's valuable to the market, right? So does this make sense so far?
It makes 100% so my brain's already going through all the things here. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. You're thinking about which people you can talk to,
Uh-huh.
which old customers you can pick their brains and say, what was the most valuable part of this? And how would you
Yeah.
express? I do exit interviews with every customer. And I literally ask them, how would you describe working with me to others? How would you describe the impact of applied brand science on your
Mhm.
company? And I get it in their own words.
Yeah.
So that's really useful so that you can express that back to the market. It also means you can then focus your message. And there are two more things. I have so many, but I'll just stick with two right now. One is um, this notion of being known for blah or known as the blah is really useful, even if it's arbitrary.
Mhm.
So, for instance, Tanya Strickland is a friend of mine and was on the show a while ago, and she makes merch. She's starting a merch company, and she's like, I can't compete with Printful. It's too big of
Mm.
a brand.
Yeah.
And I said, well, who do you have traction with already? Who do you know? And she's like, firefighters. I've been doing a lot of work with some firefighting groups. And I said, great. What if you were just the merch company to the firefighters? There are a lot of them in America, like thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
fire departments, much less the firefighters themselves. And they all need shirts and they all need,
Mhm.
belt buckles and trucker hats or who knows what they need. They probably need Stanley mugs, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Stanley mugs
So
with the cute little toppers,
with the
little
cute little
fire
topper, yep,
hat
that's right.
toppers for
In
the
seasonal
straws.
colors.
100 Yep. Can't use the
Yep.
same one year round.
Yeah. No, 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 no. Um, Firefighters got to have their fashion game on point. And also for the photo shoots, for the calendars.
Well, I'm thinking like the suspenders. You need some
Uh-huh.
branded suspenders. Oh,
All
yeah.
the things. And what a lot of people want when they pick a brand, when they buy from a company is, do you know me? Do you understand me?
Mhm. Yes.
And they use shortcuts to do that. And one of the easiest shortcuts is, do you already have customers that look just like me?
Mhm.
So for her to say, I do all the merch for every firefighting fire department in the state of Colorado, then if you're a Colorado fire department and you're looking for merch, you're like, oh, I should go with her. She knows our
Yeah.
needs. She knows our sizes. She knows what gear we like. She knows the extra thick shirts versus the crappy thin ones, blah, blah, blah. And so to an extent, picking a group is almost an arbitrary exercise in helping you become famous for one thing. And then you have a chance in hell of sticking in their mind.
Yeah.
And then you have a chance of becoming well known. And then your reputation precedes you and your brand works for you.
Mhm.
Does that make any sense?
Makes a lot of sense. It makes so
Does
much sense that I'm trying to problem solve while I'm on the show, and I need to table that.
well, but give me a little bit of what you're thinking. Like where is it taking you for the marketing psychologist?
Yeah, so I had somebody tell me, year 1, you're just holding on, you're white knuckling it. You're holding on
Yeah.
for dear life. You take whatever you can get, and yeah, year 2, you start to figure out what you actually want to sell,
Correct.
right? If you can get to year 3 or 4, if you can get through that,
Uh-huh.
right, then you can kind of get through that summit.
Yep.
You'll have good and bad ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's so far very true. I had this idea in my head that year 2's milestone of knowing
Uh-huh.
what I want to sell would not actually necessarily change who I wanted to sell to. And they're
Right.
going hand in hand.
They
And so
do.
I go back through and think, not that it's all for naught. I don't regret anything from last year. Everything compounds and builds on itself. But to a degree, what's starting to go through my head is I'm thinking too small in the tweak. I'm thinking offer only, right? I'm tweaking the
Right.
offer. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just tweaking the offer,
Mm-hmm.
right? I got
Yeah.
to go back and figure out what is the tree, dang, that has
Yeah.
all the root system, right? But it grows individual trunks. There's a huge one. I've seen it. It's in Lahaina, Hawaii. It was burned, but it survived. You know what I'm talking about?
I
I'm going to Google it
vaguely,
after this.
vaguely.
Somebody
Okay.
listening is going to be shouting, it's this tree. Anyways,
Right.
it's one root system,
Okay.
multiple trunks. It looks like individual trees,
Right.
but it's
Like
all the
aspen
same
trees
thing.
do that.
Yeah, yeah.
They grow
And
like
so,
grass. They grow through their roots and then they sprout up totally new trees.
yes, in my brain, I had been stuck on, I have got one plant, I have one root system, I have one trunk.
Okay.
What my brain is going, and you, as you can tell, I love analogy, metaphor,
Uh-huh.
you know, um, is it's almost like the same root system, but a different trunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but is probably going to outgrow that initial one. There's nothing wrong
Okay.
with it. It started
Nope.
it. But I have an idea now in my mind, but I can feel the push back on, okay,
Yeah.
it's got to get even more specific, because where I've landed is I've at least identified it's got to be a conscious company. I at
Right.
least know industry wise, I haven't necessarily picked an industry.
Right.
I do firmly believe that the way I approach things, and I've got a whole nother connector to this, which is the higher arching part of my business, but like it can truly impact holistic human health.
Yeah.
We can start creating brands that want to create an environment where consumers truly belong. Think that can make a difference on a different level.
Right.
So where I'd landed was like conscious companies,
Mm-hmm.
values led, mission driven, not necessarily nonprofit,
Sure.
right? But what's interesting is I have a lot of interest from private sector organizations
Uh-huh.
that are not even necessarily what I would consider mission
Right.
driven.
Right.
What's the through line, right? I feel pushback here on that. My through line isn't industry specific, or
Uh-huh.
is it motivator specific?
Yeah. Yeah. And you will find, just like you're describing, that the target has to be in, intrinsically and interconnected with the
Mm-hmm.
offering. And then the target and the offering have to be intrinsically connected with how you express it. In other words, your advertising and promotion.
Yeah.
And those three things will go together. So, for instance, how you show up to a trade show, which trade show, and what you're offering, all three things have to be synchronized,
Mm,
right?
yeah. Do you want to hear something wild real quick?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Please.
I do feel like I at least had enough foresight to know that I shouldn't pour my heart and soul into a bunch of deliverables before I knew something was baked.
Right.
So I've been running this business this whole time with basically a bootstrapped website. It's
Uh-huh.
finally starting to take shape. For a while, it was just a landing page,
Mm-hmm.
no pitch deck,
Nice.
no one pagers,
Yeah.
all relationship, no
Yep.
ads,
Yep.
no email newsletter. I literally got on LinkedIn and just started. I was spent hours. My first 6 months in business, I spent hours on LinkedIn reading content, researching companies, meeting with people, 12, 15 connect calls a week, just talking
Wow.
and crystallizing things. And the idea that you have given me is, of course, we record our calls, right?
Uh-huh.
There's probably gold nuggets galore in
Yeah,
all of those conversations. I've looked at some
absolutely.
specifically, but me, over logicking it, cherry picking the ones. I bet if I were to go through the whole slew of things, there'd be a gold mine there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where I was just going to recommend as your next step, essentially market research.
Mhm.
We fantasize and overthink all the things, right? We think about what customers we want to go after and how they'd respond, and we think about what products we want to make and how they should be designed. And some good advice coming from the venture capital world and from the entrepreneur and startup world is don't talk to me about brand until you get some sales. Just get some sales in the door.
Yep.
Get clients in the door to basically prototype your
Mhm.
offering and your company and how you communicate it all.
Yep.
And you will go on a path of discovery that is not you sitting in your garage coming up with the next great company. It will be out in the world and you'll be discovering it by doing it.
Yeah.
So you're right that right now, as a baby 1-year-old company, you're flailing around and it's white knuckle and you're not sure who you are yet, and you shouldn't be. Here's an example. Ben Chestnut created this website building company years ago, like in the 90s, and he was building corporate websites. But the problem with that is when you build a website, you don't see that customer again for a few years.
Right.
Meanwhile, he had some little side business that was just kind of tiny. It was just a little offering they did for a couple of their clients, and it was managing their emails for their
Mm.
email marketing. And after a while, it was such a big group of chunk of his business, he wanted to name it. So he named it after some cute little character that seemed to get a lot of reaction, a chimpanzee. So whenever he put any,
MailChimp.
uh-huh, every time he put out something with a little chimp on it, people loved it and they thought it was cute. So he decided to put that onto his recurring revenue product, his email services, and MailChimp was born. And he completely, as they would say, pivoted. He went from building websites to doing email services, and MailChimp, of course,
Yeah.
is one of the most massive players in that space now. Same with Nike. They started as Blue Ribbon Sports in the 60s and only changed their name to Nike in the 70s and only started to talk about pop culture and
Uh-huh.
major league sports in the 80s. It took them,
I'm very familiar with Nike. Huge Steve Prefontaine fan as a
okay.
runner. Bill
Oh, yeah.
Bountman, the
Yep.
whole
You got it. So you know the story. And people think when they look at Nike that they started with their why and they had a perfect strategy. Bullshit. That's all hindsight. That's
Yeah.
all rearview mirror crap. And almost no company starts with why.
Right.
Most companies starts with, oh shit, what do we do? How do we make money today? Oh
Well,
shit,
that
we have
or they're
bills to pay.
filling their own I mean, that's probably a little bit more well, not necessarily. They're filling a gap.
Yeah. Or they
They're
have
like,
an instinct.
"I can't find this. Can't I find this? I'm gonna
Right.
make it myself."
Yeah, and they start with the what? I want a better thing. I want a better
Mhm.
mousetrap. That's usually it. And in Nike's case, when it was Blue Ribbon Sports, they started with better running cleats for track
Yes.
athletes.
Yep.
Like it was
On a waffle
hardcore,
iron.
the waffle iron, hardcore technical equipment for the elite athletes.
Yes.
And it
Mhm.
was about the what
Yep.
very clearly. And I'm, killing a marketing myth out there
I
that
was gonna
floats
say,
around.
you and I both in brand over here going, "It's not about the why when you start." And I was like,
I
tip
know, I
cheating.
know. Start with why. It was the
Oopsies,
perfect
guys."
mythology at the moment. God bless it. But a lot of companies start with what, and then they figure out why in order to motivate their
Mhm.
people, which is great. But yeah, Nike had to completely shift from making specialized elite track sneakers to being a pop culture company that really focuses on major sports like
Yeah.
basketball, baseball, and football and golf. Um, so yeah, you are right to be flailing around and floundering around at this stage of your baby company. And what I will recommend as you try and figure out how to focus, that some of that focus will be a little arbitrary.
Mhm.
A lot of the focus will come from talking with your customers and talking with real people who could be your customers. Invite them out for a coffee and pick their brain, or a
Yeah.
virtual coffee, right? And buy them a virtual coffee. Uh, get their help. and get their perspective from outside the bottle. I did the same with Applied Brand Science. I got amazing help from people outside the company to understand what to even offer. So it's a research exercise. And then the final thing, which I think you've started to hear, which we can do it with everyone else's brands, but it's so hard to do it with our own.
Yeah.
The who you're targeting has to connect with the what you're selling, and that has to link tightly with the how you're selling it.
Mm-hmm.
And those will coalesce, will congeal together like dough when you're mixing it once you start getting out in the market and trying it. And you'll be like, oh, I think it's coming together. I think I'm finding a way to, this is going to be a nice dough. So yeah. Is that helpful?
You know what I was going to say, you know what I love about this advice? I can be a little academic. I have a master's degree. I
Right.
love research, right? I'm writing a book. But when I talk to specifically coaching clients, right? And I'm like, you have to build the ship while you sail it. We don't have the luxury of speaking hypothetically until this magic combination of things happens. And I feel like you met me at that level. I'm a doer. Like, I'll go later today. I've had people tell me before, like, they'll give me advice and then I'll come back and be like, hey, I implemented literally everything immediately. I got questions. And they're like, oh my God, like, go do it, right? Like, that's the gap. I've got a list in my head. I'm going to send the DMs later today. I love to let me buy you a virtual coffee. And, we're going to just go do the thing because that's where it's at. Like, you got to get out there and you got to get it done. And so that's what I love about this is we're not speaking hypothetically. You're literally giving me, hey, here's the next 3 things to do.
These are actions based on principles. Totally. The principles are clear, good targeting, understanding your offering, and then connecting that to how you sell it.
Yeah.
All 3 have to link. Picking a little bit of an arbitrary focus because then it focuses your opportunity. Realizing that the apple tree is huge. Like, do not get bored with your own target if you feel like you've maximized your pull from that target. There's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of more prospects in that target.
Absolutely.
And then yes, what's the phrase? Just do it.
And we're back. You even wore Nike today. You should have tipped me off. I didn't got anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when you come back for the next episode, because I know we've got at least one more episode, we got to have some shop talk too, because you are a pro. So when you're outside the bottle and you can actually read the damn label, Chelsea, then we'll talk brand science, and you'll wear your Nike gear. Fantastic. It's been so great to chat with you. I'm so glad I could help.
Yes, thank you so much for your practical wisdom.
So listen, brand science works best when it's a team sport. If you want your crew rowing in the same direction, call me to learn more about workshops, trainings, and talks, for your company. Head to appliedbrandscience.com to learn more. Oh, you're still here. So am I. Look at that. The show's ended, but yet here we are. Look, if you've come this far, you're the best. And to thank you for being the best, we'd love to send you some Frelk and Science AF stickers. So if you'd like some, send your mailing address, of course, your name too, and also your favorite superhero to info@appliedbrandscience.com, and we'll hook you up.